The Varaxian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a decade. Their plasma rifles could melt through reinforced titanium in seconds. Their shields could withstand direct hits from orbital cannons. They were the apex predators of the galaxy, and they knew it. So when they intercepted the human colony ship drifting through the Kepler sector, they expected easy prey. Eva stood in the cargo bay of the Meridian, her hands trembling as she loaded another belt of ammunition. The brass cartridges gleamed under the emergency lights, each one a relic from Earth's violent past. Around her, colonists scrambled to barricade doors and sealed bulkheads, their faces pale with terror. "They're hailing us again," Liam called from the makeshift command center he'd set up near the engineering console. His voice was steady, but Eva could see the tension in his shoulders. He'd been a military historian before joining the colony expedition, specializing in pre-space warfare. Now that knowledge might be all that kept him alive. The Varaxian commander's holographic image flickered into existence, its three eyes gleaming with contempt. "Surrender your vessel, primitives. Your kinetic weapons are quaint relics. Our shields will." Eva didn't let it finish. She'd already positioned the M134 Gatling gun at the cargo bay doors. Its 6 barrels aimed directly at the docking corridor where the Varaxians would breach. The weapon was over 400 years old, rescued from a military museum on Earth and brought along as a historical artifact. No one had imagined they'd actually need it. "Fire in the hole," she whispered, and pressed the trigger. The sound was apocalyptic. 6,000 rounds per minute erupted from the rotating barrels, the ancient weapon roaring to life with a fury that modern plasma weapons had forgotten. The 7.62mm bullets tore through the air in a continuous stream of lead and copper, each projectile accelerating to nearly 3,000 feet per second. The Varaxian boarding party materialized in the corridor, their personal shields shimmering with confident energy. Those shields were designed to deflect directed energy weapons, to disperse heat and electromagnetic pulses. They had never encountered something as brutally simple as a solid projectile traveling at supersonic speed. The first Varaxian's shield flickered once, twice, then collapsed entirely under the overwhelming kinetic bombardment. The rounds punched through its crystalline armor like it was paper, the alien's body jerking violently as dozens of bullets found their mark. Behind it, the second warrior met the same fate, and then the third. The Gatling gun didn't discriminate. It didn't care about shield frequencies or energy dispersal patterns. It simply threw metal downrange with relentless, mechanical efficiency, a wall of death that nothing organic could withstand. "They're retreating," Liam shouted over the deafening roar. "Eva, they're pulling back to their ship." But Eva didn't stop firing. She'd studied enough military history to know that hesitation killed. The ammunition belt fed smoothly through the weapon, the barrels spinning in their familiar blur, smoke and spent casings filling the air around her. Through the haze, she could see more Varaxians falling, their advanced technology useless against a weapon their empire had never bothered to develop. The Varaxian commander's voice crackled through the comm system, no longer arrogant but filled with genuine confusion. "What manner of weapon is this? Our sensors detect no energy signatures. New plasma cordes. It's called a gun," Liam replied, his voice cold. "Humanity's been perfecting them for 800 years. You might want to update your tactical database." The Meridian shuddered as the Varaxian ship disengaged its docking clamps. Eva finally released the trigger, her ears ringing in the sudden silence. The Gatling gun's barrels glowed, cherry-red heat waves rising from the weapon's housing. The corridor beyond was a scene of carnage. Alien bodies sprawled across the deck plating, their once imposing armor riddled with holes. Liam appeared at her side, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You okay?" Eva nodded, still staring at the destruction she'd wrought. "They called it obsolete. They were wrong." Liam gestured to the viewscreen where the Varaxian warship was accelerating away from them, its engines burning bright against the starfield. Technology isn't just about being advanced. Sometimes the old ways work because they're simple, reliable, and brutal. In the days that followed, word of the engagement spread through the Varaxian Empire's communication networks. The mighty warriors who had crushed dozens of civilizations had been routed by a single human with a primitive kinetic weapon. The story became a legend. Then a warning: the Varaxians had assumed that projectile weapons were obsolete, that any species still using them was backward and weak. They learned, too late, that humanity had built an entire civilization on the principle of throwing objects at their enemies with ever-increasing velocity and accuracy. From stones to arrows to bullets to railguns, the core concept remained the same: accelerate mass, apply to target, repeat as necessary. Eva and Liam's colony ship eventually reached its destination, and the Meridian's cargo bay became a shrine of sorts. The Gatling gun was mounted on a pedestal, its barrels still scorched from that desperate battle. Beneath it, a plaque bore a simple inscription: "They mocked our obsolete artillery. We taught them why humanity never forgets how to wage war." The Varaxian Empire, for its part, updated its tactical protocols. New recruits were shown footage of the Meridian engagement, taught to respect kinetic weapons regardless of their apparent primitive, and somewhere in their vast military archives, a new classification appeared: Humans dangerous. Approach with extreme caution. Do not assume technological superiority, because the galaxy had learned an important lesson that day. Humanity might not have the most advanced weapons, the strongest shields, or the fastest ships, but they had 8 centuries of experience in the art of making other beings stop moving, and they'd refined that art to a terrible perfection. Sometimes, the old ways were the best ways, and sometimes, a spinning cluster of barrels spitting lead was worth more than all the plasma rifles in the Empire.